It's time for Living with Victory, a program of hope and encouragement brought to you by Friends of Compassion and listeners like you. Now here's your host, President of Compassion for Kids, Tony Giorgio, with today's message of perseverance.
Welcome to Living with Victory. I'm your host, Tony Giorgio, proving life isn't about waiting for the storms to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. It's called perseverance. And we are streaming the program online. You can log on livingwithvictory.org. And support for this ministry comes from listeners just like you. And by the way, the opinions expressed on this show are the opinions of the host or hostess. In this case, I do have my cohort with me, Laureen, who is going to co-host the show. Good morning, Laureen. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine, and I'm happy to be here. Good morning, everyone.
Today, our subject is going to be making real memories. And what is the Christmas season? Is it not love? Isn't that what came to earth? The eternal love was born on Christmas Day. So that's what we're going to talk about today. The memories that we made and what it's all about. It's all about love. It's not about wrapping that gift and giving it away.
I'll tell you, the gifts that I have received over the years were very nice, but I couldn't tell you now what I received. But I do remember being with family and sharing the love with them.
Today, if you asked me, what was your favorite gift? Materialistically, I can't tell you the toy, the shirt, the tie, whatever. I can't tell you that. But what I can tell you is that at Christmas time, we had the family together. We sat around that table, and you know, for an Italian family, when you had a gathering, it was big. It was big. 14, 15 people were nothing sitting around a table eating. That's what I remember about Christmas.
Sitting around that table with all of your cousins and your aunts and your uncles. God, we had such a huge family. We used to have to eat in shifts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that. And Grandma and Grandpa all sitting there and all this food and this preparation of this feast in honor of the baby Jesus. That's what it was all about. And yeah, we had gifts and we exchanged gifts. Yeah, we did all of that. But I'm telling you, the most precious gift I have was the fact that we got together, that the family was there, that we laughed and we joked, and sometimes we fought. And in an Italian family, that ain't unusual, you know. That's okay, because it all works out. But the beauty of it is that we're together in love, and we're celebrating love.
Even the one relative that might have given everybody a big pain in the neck was part of the family, and you wouldn't want to do without them.
The memories I have of Christmas, the tree was beautiful, but I always remember fighting the crowd, sitting at the little table when I was a kid, because I wasn't allowed at the big table. There wasn't no room. But I remember looking over and everybody laughing and eating, and you know, who was talking to Grandpa, and who's talking Italian, and who's talking English, and I mean, you have to picture the festivity of just the love that was in the room. We're made to think this season, especially with everybody having all these finances and problems with spending money and all of that, which we don't have, and you end up going to plastic. You're going to spend God knows how much more on that gift because of the generosity of the banks with 9% to 29%. It's outrageous, because you know, just remembering what I did in the past for families, I remember the joy on the faces of families when we realized there was one family. Do you remember Stormy?
Stormy had cerebral palsy. His grandmother was his caretaker, Katie. But she was having a heck of a time with him because they had no wheelchair ramp into their home.
And it was tough for Grandma. So we got together and thought of a gift. Let's build her a wheelchair ramp, and maybe we can redo the bathroom. I didn't know how to do it at all, but I got some friends together, and I also approached Home Depot. We got together, and we went over there, and we remodeled the place. They put in roll-in showers. They extended that bathroom. It looked like another bedroom. They took on this project with love, saw the need, and they filled it. What about going grocery shopping for somebody for a month or two who needs it, who can't do it on their own? That kind of thing will last a lifetime in that person's memory and in yours, because, I remember Stormy in that situation till this day, and that happened a very long time ago. The willingness and the love of everybody there doing this job to actually do a little bit more. It was just pure love for your fellow man, and the gift of giving was there in a different way.
They do say it is better to give than to receive, but when you buy a tangible gift, that moment is over with pretty quickly. But when you're giving of yourself and a little bit of your time and your energy, you can't pay for that feeling of how you feel when you really give somebody something that they need out of your love, and what's going to cost you maybe a little bit of time and energy. When you're giving of yourself that way, that's more precious than just going and paying for something.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And I guess this is why we're talking about this today, because people need to understand, don't put yourself under pressure now to go out and get those gifts, because you got to buy gifts of a certain amount, a certain type. They're starting a new tradition by opening up early on Black Friday, like midnight. That's crazy. You're hurting people more than helping them.
We have gotten so busy. It's just the way life is now. It's a much more fast-paced than it was years ago. We have to stop and try to get back to a little bit of what it was years ago, and give of ourselves to our families and spend time with our families, whether it be with your children, make time to be with your husband, your parents, your grandparents, if they're in a home, to make time to go and visit with them. Give them a day of staying with them, or if they're blessed enough to leave the home, take them out of the home and give them a day of fun, maybe a movie and a dinner, things of that nature. Give of yourself, give of your time. Your time is precious. It is a precious commodity.
That's worth more than anything. And like I said, we both remember, my wife and I just remember that we were talking about it just before we went on the air. The Christmas time we had one year where everybody was over, aunts, uncles, cousins. I mean, it was such a good feeling, and our uncles, who both played pianos, were there playing the piano. We had a little piano. This is the kind of memories. And then friends of ours, very good friends of ours, showed up unannounced. Hey, they come over, and I mean, we had them everywhere. We had them upstairs, downstairs, the basement, you name it. But we remember that as a happy time. That's just what we're trying to say to you. Make lasting memories. The toys are going to break, and they're going to be dumped, lost, discarded. There's something new they want. Don't do that. Make some memories. The important part of all of this is, hey, what are we celebrating here? Let's make Macy's rich. Let's make Walmart rich. No, we're celebrating the richness of the King of Kings, the Christ child. We're celebrating God's gift to us that no man on this earth can ever match. You've got eternal life there. You've got a friend that you can always count on. You have somebody who will always be near you, inside and outside. He doesn't wait for Sunday morning to say hello. He's there when you wake up in the morning, and he's there when you go to sleep at night, and in between. That's what Christmas is about. You don't take the Christ out of Christmas. That's preposterous. That's just the gluttony of merchandising. And don't forget, these are my opinions, okay? And I still have freedom of speech. But this Christmas is not to go and do layaway. It's nice to do if you got it. If you don't have it, don't use that plastic. They can do it out. In the old days, an apple was a gift. A string of popcorn was a gift. A homemade scarf by someone was a gift. Didn't have to go on Black Friday to spend $1 gazillion, fall over somebody you don't even know, punch somebody in the face that you don't know. That's not brotherly love, and that's not what this season is about. It's about Jesus Christ. I don't care what you say, who you are. It's his birthday. That's why Christmas came about, not because these big department stores want to sell what they have. If they weren't so darn greedy at the top, they'd have more to share in their little stock portfolio than they do now. So the real reason we're talking is because we've lost connection here, and we're all suffering. Don't bite into their baloney that you gotta have that sweeper. Don't bite into the baloney that you've got to have that coat to look great, or nobody's gonna like you. Don't make them think that your kid's got to have this $300 iPod to be the to-do in school. Come on, let's not go there.
At this point in our lives, I would say that the best thing you could give your children are very happy memories, because all of our parents and a lot of our older aunts and uncles are gone now, and we can't go back. We can't make memories. Right now, you have the opportunity to do that. And when you're not around, your kids will want to sit down and say, gee, I remember when.
That's right. That's right. You know, that's very, very true. And we feel it. And not because we're any different than you are, or any better than you are, or had it better than you. Hey, I lived in a tenement in Brooklyn, for crying out loud. We all had the same apartment, man. Grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, mom, dad. We didn't have this luxury apartment. We barely got to put up trees and spend money on gifts. My mother and father worked in sweatshops. You know, the garment district, if you've heard stories. So, understand, let's give the gift that's going to create the memories. And we're coming down to the wire. I know, it's almost over. And we love you. And next week, we'll be talking a little bit more about Christmas and what it means to you. And if you'd like a CD, a free CD of the program, you might want to give it to a friend. We'll give you a free one. We'll send it to you. All you got to do is go to our website, livingwithvictory.org. Contact us and give us the information, and we'll send you one out free of charge. You remember this, though. You keep dancing in the rain. Don't let anybody take that away from you. Dance in the rain, because you know why? God is your umbrella. So, for today, folks, this is Tony Giorgio and
Laureen Giorgio.
I caught you by surprise, didn't I? Saying, have a blessed week, and remember, you can visit us on livingwithvictory.org. Have a great week.
You've been listening to Living with Victory with your host, motivational and inspirational speaker, Tony Giorgio. Support for Living with Victory comes from Friends of Compassion and listeners like you. Your tax-deductible donations can be sent to Compassion for Kids, P.O. Box 1982, Maggie Valley, North Carolina, 28751. Tony is also available to speak to your group or organization. You can call him at 828-926-4600. Join us again next week at this time for another uplifting story of dancing in the rain.
Jesus is with me when the storm clouds gather. He's standing by my side.